Hi, good afternoon. This is Barb, and I'm going to talk about how I found out last night by watching an amazing webinar that your Speech Class 101 actually does come in handy. I bet y'all didn't know I was a TA for Speech 101. But okay, so last night we were on a webinar, and Pete Vargas and Pat Quinn, I got to tell you, it was awesome. If you get a chance to watch it, you should, because if you have any problems, not necessarily making a speech, but even finding a way to communicate either through your webinar or through podcasts, it really pulls everything together. You know, speech class, you give an introduction, and in the introduction you tell them what you're going to talk about, and then you talk about it, and then in the closing you go back over what it was that you talked about and you pull it all together. It's funny because how many years has it been since I actually gave a speech? But in the live world, if you talk about something that is your story, or what you're passionate about, there's no reason for you to have to struggle, number one, to come up with something to talk about, and number two, to feel funny about getting out there and talking live. It comes pretty easy when it's something that you're familiar with, right? But I wanted to tell you, I thought about that. I guess it was P was saying that there's different sections. You can have 4 to 7 different sections in your class or your speech. Sorry, and it was funny because he called it a story braid framework, where you have the head, the heart, the head, the hands, and the heart. And for whatever reason, it reminded me of the Dirty Dancing song at the end of the summer, with the sister and her little Hawaiian thing and doing all of her hand motions. I don't know why, it just happened. So anyway, and I digress. But so the 4 parts, instead of it being like your introduction, it's called an opening heart story, where you actually talk out about what's going on, what your story is. And the things that I didn't know is that you want to actually let them hear what you heard and see what you saw at that time, and more importantly, feel what it was that you felt, and pull them into the story. And that was a definite great takeaway. The second section, of course, they called it the head section, which gives the content. You're actually teaching them something. If you're not going to teach them something, not sure why you're talking to them. People aren't going to tune in just to hear what you had for breakfast or what you did yesterday. The third is called the hands section, where you're actually trying to get them hands-on. You want them to take an action. You want them to click on a link. You want them to follow your YouTube. You want them to follow your Instagram or your Twitter. But the third section, hands-on, actually getting them to do something. And then again, the closing, or the closing heart story, as they put it, where you actually tie back in everything that you've done, give a current update of what your story was at the beginning. I just think it's a new vamped up Speech Class 101, and was much more excited about watching it last night than I was going through it the first time. But anyway, I've got a lot more in-depth information. I'd be glad to share it with you if you're interested. Just type yes please in the comments, and I will get you my notes, which are a lot more coherent than me talking about it. Talk to you later. Peace out.